Join me as I dive deep into the topic of climate refugees and challenge myself to uncover the real human impact behind this crisis. But first, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more impactful stories on climate change. Climate change is no longer just about rising temperatures or melting ice caps. It's about people, their homes, and their very way of life. The concept of climate refugees refers to individuals who are forced to leave their homes due to environmental changes such as sea level rise, droughts, or extreme weather events. This issue is becoming increasingly pressing as climate change intensifies. Climate refugees face an incredibly tough situation. They're not just leaving their homes, they're often leaving behind their communities, families, and everything they've ever known. Displacement is a huge challenge, as these individuals struggle to find new places to live, work, and access basic resources like food and water. But it's not just about physical survival. It's also about maintaining a sense of identity and belonging in a new and often hostile environment. The lack of resources is another major hurdle. Climate refugees often arrive in new locations with little to no support, making it difficult for them to rebuild their lives. They may not have access to healthcare, education, or job opportunities, which can lead to a cycle of poverty and marginalization. And let's not forget the psychological toll of displacement, as people struggle to cope with the trauma of losing their homes and livelihoods. The political implications of climate refugees are also significant. As more and more people are forced to leave their homes, governments are faced with the challenge of providing support and protection. But it's not always clear who is responsible for helping these individuals or how they should be integrated into new communities. This can lead to tensions between governments, NGOs, and local communities, making it even harder for climate refugees to access the help they need. One region that's been particularly hard hit by climate change is the Pacific island nation of Tuvalu. Rising sea levels are threatening the very existence of this small island nation, and many Tuvaluans are being forced to consider a life away from their ancestral home. Take the story of Yowane Te Aiwa, a young Tuvaluan who grew up surrounded by the ocean and now finds himself fighting to preserve his culture in a rapidly changing world. In the Maldives, another island nation in the Indian Ocean, climate change is causing widespread flooding and saltwater contamination of freshwater sources. This is forcing many Maldivians to leave their homes in search of safer areas, often with limited resources and support. The personal stories of these individuals are a powerful reminder of the human impact of climate change. The situation in Syria is also a stark example of how climate change can contribute to displacement and conflict. A prolonged drought led to crop failures, livestock deaths, and a massive influx of rural Syrians into urban areas, putting a huge strain on already limited resources. This was one of the factors that contributed to the outbreak of civil war, which has had devastating consequences for the Syrian people. According to the UNHCR, climate change could displace up to 143 million people by 2050, with many more facing significant challenges in their home countries. This is a staggering statistic, and it underscores the urgency of addressing the needs and rights of climate refugees. We need to think differently about how we support these individuals and ensure that they're protected and integrated into new communities. Recap the main points. Climate refugees are people who are forced to leave their homes due to environmental changes. They face significant challenges, including displacement, lack of resources, and political implications. The human impact of climate change on vulnerable populations is clear, and it's essential that we take action to support these individuals. If you've made it this far, I want to hear from you. Share your thoughts on climate refugees in the comments below. What do you think is the most pressing issue facing these individuals, and how can we work together to address their needs? If you're interested in learning more about climate change solutions, check out my next video where we explore some innovative approaches to reducing our carbon footprint.